Constructing your life is about much more than just building a bank account. Each week, join real estate entrepreneur and mindset coach Austin Linney as he interviews guests who are constructing their dream lives and impacting the world around them on a daily basis. If you're an entrepreneur or wanting to start a business, or you just want to hear motivating stories of how others have overcome the odds, you are in the right place. And now for your host, Austin Linney.
Guys, welcome to Construct Your Life. This is Austin Linney. I am beyond grateful to be here with my main man, Diego Corzo. How are you doing, Diego?
Doing well. Thank you for the opportunity, Austin.
Guys, you're going to be blown away by this interview. We haven't even had it yet because I just know this man. He's a good friend of mine, an inspiration. Every time I leave this man, I feel better. So, you know, your brother's not too shabby down there in Florida doing some real estate as well. So really just a powerhouse real estate family. He's got Airbnbs, long-term investments. He's a killer agent, a house hacking extraordinaire. He's going to walk us through all these strategies and kind of tell us his story on how he got to where he is today and the long road. I know you're going to be blown away. So we'll just get in. I don't want to waste too much time. And why don't you just take us kind of through your story there, Diego?
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you very much for having me here. And where I will start is more of where I am today and then take you back. Is that cool?
Sure.
Awesome. So I am 29 years old, living in Austin, Texas, full-time realtor. And also I own around 15 doors right now in March 2019 or April 2019. And the passive income that I get from my rental properties pay for my living expenses, which is awesome, which technically means that I am financially independent. And even though this sounds great, my life wasn't always this way. I am a DACA recipient and a dreamer. So for the audience here, if you guys have heard the news lately, these past couple of years, that's been a hot topic. But it basically means that I came from Peru when I was 9 years old with my family, and we came with a visa, but then we overstayed it, so we became undocumented. So I am still undocumented, but I'm part of the DACA program, which basically since 2012, it allows me to work and drive. But the childhood and the challenges that I've had to go through to get to where I am today of being a millennial entrepreneur, it has had a lot of ups and downs. When I was 16 years old, I went to the DMV to get my driver's license, and they told me that without the proper paperwork, that because I was undocumented, I couldn't drive. I couldn't qualify to get my driver's license. And at that point, I was aware that I was undocumented, but I didn't know what it actually meant because I was still a kid. And that's when it first hit me that my life was going to be a little bit different than my friends. And then I put all my emphasis into school, into high school, graduated third in my high school class. I applied for college. I got into Florida State University. And as I was applying for loans, for grants, for scholarships, I got turned down by 99% of them because they needed to see my green card or my citizenship. Because I didn't have that, I was denied. A few of them I won, and then they said that they couldn't disperse the funds until I showed them my green card. So then I'm like, I don't have it. So I lost that money. So that was another challenge. And then as I knew that I had enough for the first year in college, so I went there anyway. And I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to work so that I can pay for college. And after I volunteer at a nonprofit, they offered me a job full-time or at least like part-time while I was going to college. And as I applied and everything, they asked, Diego, everything is great, but we need your work authorization. So I asked my parents and they said, Diego, we do not have that document. You don't have it. So then I'm like, I'm 19 years old, cannot drive, cannot get student loans or much scholarships. And now I can't even work. Like, what the heck is going on, right? Like, I'm supposed to fulfill my goals, my dreams of achieving my own version of the American dream, right? Which back then for me was, of course, being the first in my family to graduate high school and college here in the United States. And I was doing everything that my teachers told me to do. And then now I'm facing all of these challenges. But I found out that I could still open up my own LLC. So that's how I was able to pay for college. I started making websites for small businesses, for nonprofits, and riding my bike to and from the offices, from meetings. But I was able to make it happen and always figure out that I always knew that there was a way to make it happen, but somehow I just had to get more resourceful. So that's what I did. And fast forward to 2012, I was graduating. That's when Obama passed the executive order called DACA that allows dreamers to work and drive. So it wasn't until I was 22, 23 years old that I finally get my driver's license and was able to work. And that's when the playing field evened out with all of my friends. And then after that, I just took advantage of the opportunity that I had, which was work my butt off, be as resourceful as possible, be as purposeful as possible for all the goals that I had. And then I began buying properties and all of that stuff. And then I quit being a software developer because I got a job as a software developer for GM. And I went full into real estate in 2015. And that's what I've been doing ever since.
Mm-hmm. And if you could tell the story, because I think it's powerful and it really shows, my new rule in life is no excuses. I can't stand people that make excuses. Can you walk them through the story of when you were riding your bike and you had a suit and a backpack? And,
yeah, man, for sure. So this was back in 2011. It was the summer of 2011 in Florida. So it's freaking hot. And I had set up an appointment with a small business. And at that point, my bike was my only mode of transportation. So I realized that, okay, I need to, this is my only way. So I put a suit and a towel in my backpack and I ride my bike to the appointment. So it was like 4 or 5 miles away. So by the time that I got there in the middle of the summer, I was drenched in sweat. It was bad. So I parked my bike in the back of the building and dry off with a towel. I rode there in my gym clothes. So I quickly changed in a way, like hoping that nobody sees me. And I walked to the front of the building just like everybody else with a suit on. By that time I had dried off, fixed my hair a little bit and stuff. And I had a 1 hour meeting, walk back afterwards, right to the back of the building, change back into my sweaty gym clothes and ride my bike back home. Right. But that is that mentality that no matter what, and this is something that I shared on my TEDx talk, was that if the door of opportunity is closed, I go through the window. And that has been the mentality that I've had, that no matter what, there's no excuses, especially living in the United States. You just have to be hungry enough to figure out what is that how to make your goals happen.
And I never asked this of you. Where do you think that roots in? Because your brother, who's running a ridiculous wholesale company down in Florida, y'all both seem to have that mentality. And what I found is that, say it or don't, but immigrants and people of that have traveled over and made it to America, they seem to have that mindset where nothing's going to hold them back. Is that rooted in your parents? Like, where does that come from, that mentality? Because, you had to, it wasn't like back in the day, the internet was not as relevant as it is. So you had to find these things out. You had to do digging, all those things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, back then, I wish that there was like Uber or Lyft, right? Because back then there wasn't anything like that, especially in Tallahassee, Florida, which is a small college town, per se, even though it's a capital of Florida. But I feel like a lot of it comes from my parents, seeing them, all the sacrifice that they did to come to the United States, in a country that they didn't know anybody other than a few family members. They had to learn a new language. And then we sold everything that we had in Peru and started from scratch.
Mm-hmm.
And when you start from zero, the only way that you can really go is up, right?
Sure.
So because of the fact that we started from zero, where my parents and my brother and I, we lived in one bedroom for a couple of months in a bunk bed. Like that's where we slept. And so it's like, because we started from zero, we just knew that there was going to be more for us in the future. And my parents worked their butts off. They were in the restaurant industry. My mom was a waitress. My dad was a cook back in early 2000s, because we came here in 1999. And we were in Miami, Florida. So literally, like, for example, to give you an example of what will happen on a Friday, my parents would go in at work at 11, 10:30, 11 at the restaurant, work till 10, 11 p.m., where the restaurant closed. But then Friday nights was karaoke night. So they will stay at the restaurant till 5 a.m., get home at 6 a.m., sleep for a few hours, and be back at the restaurant for Saturday, the whole day till 11. The restaurant closed. The live music will come in till 5 a.m., and they would do that over and over and over again. So it's like sort of like, and because of the fact that back then my parents didn't have money for somebody to take care of my brother and I, we slept in the office at the restaurant. So like I've seen my parents sacrifice a lot and work their butts off, and saw their work ethic, to where now, for example, to make that choice of, okay, can I ride my bike for hours in the sun? I'm like, for a little bit, for a few miles, I'm like, yeah, my parents worked from 10 a.m. to 5 a.m. multiple times. This is nothing. So I mean, it's definitely that example. And to also show my parents that what they had to go through is totally worth it, to where the level that now that all the action that my brother and I have taken has been totally worth it.
It's almost as if you're honoring your parents with your action.
Exactly.
Right. And the reason I spent 20 years in the restaurant business, so I'm very familiar with those kind of hours, 8 years straight, every weekend, no breaks. That also may be why when y'all party, it goes on for like 2 days, right?
That too.
Because they work so much.
Exactly.
Because I love it. So let's talk about you. You moved to Austin. You don't know anybody. You're working, in the IT department, and then what started the path down the real estate? There's nothing about starting real estate, especially from an undocumented, that makes it sounds easy, right? And then how do you grow to be, such a, high-powered agent? What kind of started you down the road of the real estate?
Yeah. So what happened was, in 2011, I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. Mm-hmm. And I also met a mentor. His name is Adam Carroll. And he mentioned a quote. He said, Diego, you should build a bigger life, not a bigger lifestyle. Because a lifestyle, it's something that like you're either like some people continue to go to work and they get stuck in the rat race to keep their lifestyle. But if you focus on building a bigger life, that's when you're being purposeful for what you want. Mm-hmm. So I knew that back then that I wanted to build a bigger life. And by reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, I knew that you could either trade your time for money, right? That's when I was working as an employee, still working as a realtor right now, trading my time for money. That's one way to make money. And then the other way to make money is through passive income, which is you make your money work for you. So I knew that even though I was undocumented at the time, and like that I didn't even have the opportunity to work legally at that time, I knew that in the future I was going to build my wealth through real estate, through passive income streams. I didn't know how yet, but then when I moved to Austin, because I got the job, I decided that I wanted to start by buying a home with low money down and start house hacking. Basically, live in the master bedroom, rent out the other 3 rooms, and have my tenants pay for my mortgage. And after a lot of obstacles, because the lenders had no idea what DACA was, I had no credit history, like I had nothing back then. After in 2014, that's when I was able to buy my home with putting 5% down to start house hacking. And since then, my mortgage has always been covered by my tenants and also my car payment. So it's been great. And because I didn't have the privilege, quote unquote, to get student loans, I didn't have any student debt. And because I had to work my butt off in college to pay for everything cash, technically, I didn't also get into any bad debt. I didn't have any credit cards or anything. The only one, I guess, was my car. But then I got my asset to pay for that. So that was the mindset shift that I had. I was like, okay, how can I buy assets that pay for my lifestyle, that pay for my liabilities? And I just set a goal that by age 35, I wanted to have 10 properties, but I was able to do that by age 27. So that was pretty cool, but that's because I was purposeful into my goals and also connecting with the right people.
Mm-hmm. And for me, when I bought my first house, we basically house hack with renting out the rooms for Airbnb. So, a hybrid of that. But I know this is something that you teach. You have a mastermind of your own. I know this is something that you extremely believe in. And I want to stay here for a second because, I feel like a lot of new investors are going to listen to my podcast. I coach a lot of young kids, same like you, people just getting started. Kind of elaborate. I think house hacking is probably like I wouldn't say the easiest way, but I think it's probably the best strategy to start off with if you're going to start as an investor, right?
Yeah. For sure, especially because, and this is something that a lot of people don't know, but they think, especially the millennials, the young people, they think that you need 20% down to buy a house, any house. And that is not true. Like at least, right? They think, I need 25%. No. If you're going to be buying a house for yourself as an owner occupant, you can buy a home from zero money down with USDA loans all the way to 5% down with conventional loans. And you can even get grants from your city if you can qualify them based on your income or based on the demographic or whatever. So that's the benefit of it. But what you can see it is like, okay, maybe you can buy a duplex and get an FHA loan, buy a duplex, live on one side, rent out the other, and then later you can repeat the process again and again every year or every 2 years. And that is the best way to start building your portfolio, because you can buy a house, let's say in 2020, put 3% down on a home or 5% down, and then mid 2021, you move out of that house after you rented it out to roommates or rent out of that side if you buy a multifamily, and then put somebody in there, and now you have a lot more cash flow and you repeat the process over and over and over again. That's why this is such a good strategy to do, because you do not need that much cash, and you're either going to pay your rent in an apartment, you're either going to pay somebody else's mortgage, or you get other people to pay your mortgage.
And moreover, guys, and basically something that's very important, especially when I teach people Airbnb, because you don't need to have 15 doors like Diego. You could have 3 doors, but you could basically just travel the world. That's what I'm trying to explain to people. It's small steps, little bitty things. Maybe you live in the house, maybe you only buy one house, but maybe your roommates pay and you're living for free, right? And so these are the little things. And also, what I've noticed you do is that you're buying new construction homes too, and you're basically buying in the path of progress, right?
Exactly.
And so not only are you living for free, you're also catching the upside of equity as well too, right?
Exactly. So with the builders, what's great is that if you use them as a lender, because they will tell you, hey, you can get qualified with any lender, but if you use us, they will pay for your closing costs. And because I'm a realtor too, I get the commission. So basically, I get the commission, I get them to pay for my closing costs. So I'm trying to get into the property with as little money down. But here's the thing too, is that when you get a new build and you're renting out to roommates or to other potential tenants, the house looks really nice. It has either granite countertops, like everything is super new. So it makes it super easy to rent. So that's why I get them, is because I'm from the mindset that I am buying cash flow properties, not appreciation is the cherry on top. And because I'm not handy, I'm not buying properties to rehab. I'm not buying properties to do the burst strategy or anything like that. I'm going to get into a home and I'm going to rent it out from day one to roommates and move and continue to my next one.
And just so you know, guys, if you're scared of new construction developments or new construction builders, there are many people that I ran into, especially in the last couple of years, that are using new home builders, have great relationships with them, and get upgrades, closing costs like he's talking about, thrown in for free by just continuing to buy homes with them. So, it's definitely something, my philosophy in life is you have to ask the question. And I'm with you. I've done a full remodel on a 1930s house. I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't got time for all that stuff anymore. So, there is something, for me, I'm digging into the new construction myself. There is something pleasurable about knowing that everything's nice and new, for sure.
Yeah. And it makes life easier too if you're not handy and if you don't want to have that headache or have that time, right? I feel like for me, because I'm a realtor, I would prefer I know that my time is more valuable in meeting clients rather than trying to meet with a plumber at the house to see if he can if he can update the toilet or whatever. So that, because I know where my valuable time is, I prefer to do that instead.
Dollar productive time spent. You're very focused on that. You have multiple streams of it. If you're focused on this thing, you can't be making money over here, guys. So, you have to, the eye opener thing for me was when I felt really good about all the work I did with my Airbnbs. And then Maddie A made me price per hour. And it was like $3, and I literally had like a lump in my throat for like a week. And that was when I started changing all the businesses and hiring people to do this and so on. So you really have to focus on where the revenue is coming in and where you can move the needle farther.
Exactly.
So let's talk about kind of what I think. Maybe it did, maybe it didn't. I think it did, because I know how much getting around successful people with a unstoppable mindset has helped me and leveled up my networking. Let's talk through how you met these GoBundance guys and this crazy story that I think has elevated your network, to say the least. That would be an understatement. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, because a lot of people ask me, "Hey, Diego, like how have you been able to get to over 10 properties in your 20s, especially with being undocumented? I couldn't work or drive till 22, and by age 27, I had 10 properties." Right? I give a lot of my, everything, a lot of that I've been able to achieve. Sure, is my tenacity, is my perseverance, is the example that my parents gave. But it's also because I've been connected with the right mentors and the right people that have showed me the way. And I know that if it wasn't for me being connected to the GoBundance mastermind group, I wouldn't be where I am today. And but it happened. It was super crazy how it happened, because it started with a tweet.
It's like my favorite story ever. Yeah. And then make sure you tell the story about getting on the plane too.
Yeah,
you've
for
never
sure.
been. It's the best.
For sure. So basically, I was becoming a realtor. By that time, I had just taken my test and all of that. And I was listening while I was working at corporate America, because I was a software developer. I had my headphones on a lot and I was listening to podcasts. I'm a big proponent of, you always have to be a student of life, listen to audible books, listen to podcasts. So I listened to one by Pat Hyben. And so I followed him on Twitter. And after I followed him on Twitter, he replied. After I followed him and I sent him a message, he replied, and I thanked him after every single episode that he did with a nugget that I had. And it's all on Twitter, which is crazy. So then in one of them, he mentioned about the importance of your mastermind group, the people that you surround yourself with. And he mentioned that he has a mastermind group called Go Abundance. So I asked him about it, and he says, "Oh, we're a mastermind for millionaires who love financial freedom, accountability, and adventure." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I need to be in there." So I told him I want in, but I'm 23, and that's it. So after that, I went to their website. I submitted a form, and then from there, I got on a call with one of the other creators of GoBundance, Tim Rode. So I tell him a bit about me. I quote Jim Rohn, right? I tell him a little bit about my story. Jim Rohn, that you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with. So that's why I want to be in this group. And so he's like, "Okay, let me talk to the other elders, and I'll give you a call back." It's like, all right. A week or 2 weeks later, he gives me a call and he says, "Diego, we want to invite you to our next event. It's going to be just you, and you're going to be one of the only ones that's not a millionaire, but we're going to have 10 to 15 millionaires. Are you in?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, let's go." So I put it on a credit card, because back then I didn't have much. I was 23. And I basically go to the event in Steamboat, Colorado. I had no idea what to expect. My friends were telling me, it's like, "Is this some kind of MLM? Like, they already charging you $2,000 and you don't even know them?" And I'm like, "No, these guys are the real deal. I have to check them out." So I go over there, and I find myself in a room with 50 millionaires at Osborne's house. And everybody's going around explaining like how they got connected with the mastermind, what their net worth is. So we have a guy that's 40 million, 15 million, 10 million. And when they come to me and I'm like, "Hey guys, my name is Diego. I'm 23 years old. I own 2 properties. And my net worth is 25K. And they were like, "Who the heck let this kid in? Why is he here?" So I told them a little bit more about my story and me being a dreamer. And after the 5-day event, they're like, "Hey, Diego, can you come outside?" So I went outside with one of them, and he basically told me, "Look, we created GoBundance for millionaires, but we want to help you out. Will you be our apprentice? We don't know where this is going. We don't know how this can help you, but if you can surround yourself with us, we know that you will be able to learn something. Are you in?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, let's do it." So ever since then, this is back in 2014, I turned 24 years old at that event, and I knew that my life will be different from then. 2 weeks later, I was flying on a private plane with Osborne, and he went literally picking up his friends so that we can run a Spartan race. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, these guys are amazing." And they're talking about business. They're talking about contribution and family and all this other stuff, which is what, like, it's those conversations that just elevate and reach a certain standard in life. And man, everything that ever since then, if they said, "Diego, you have to go to Tony Robbins," I went to Tony Robbins. If they said, "Diego, you have to take the speech class," I took a speech class. Go to this event, I was there. And that's what caught the attention of a lot of the guys, is that for the first 6 months, I saw them in Steamboat. I went and I did that race. I saw them again at because I was an agent with KW. They had an event in Austin, so I saw them at that KW event. Then they have a nonprofit called One Life Fully Lived. I went there, and then so like back to back to back. They were like, "Who the heck is this kid? Like, he's just following and taking action." And yeah, fast forward two years, well, a year after that, from joining GoBundance, they held me accountable and they showed me the way, and I was able to quit my job as a software developer and became a full-time agent back then.
Crazy. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, and because I operate this way, so I'd just be interested to hear it. You know, you didn't know much about them. You knew of them. You know, what was the trigger for you that said, you know, I'm just going to go all in and I'm just going to figure it out? Because, you know, my philosophy is your energy gets you in the door. You know, you might not have the knowledge, but your energy and enthusiasm gets you in places that maybe you shouldn't be, right? Mm-hmm. So was it kind of like, dude, these this is just it. I mean, like, and I'm just gonna like see where this takes me, and like, there's no fear, right? And like, you didn't have the money, you didn't have any of this stuff, so like, what do you think was the reason that you were like, sure? I mean, like,
Yeah, I mean, I knew that. So I have the mindset, right? There is a mentality that you have to surround yourself with like-minded people, and your mentors will show you the way so that you don't have to do the same mistakes that they did. So if it took them 20 years to where they are at, it might take you 10 because of either the resources that they can help you with, the mistakes that they did, they can tell you how you cannot do them. So I knew that I needed that for the life that I wanted to have, that I needed to surround myself with other examples that will show me the way. But I also knew that if I didn't take action, that they will not want to continue helping me. Right.
well,
Because at the end, I didn't want to waste their time too. I mean, you're talking with a guy that's worth $100 million. I'm like, I need to take action. If not, he's going to be like, Diego, this is the third time we meet and you haven't taken any action. That's not who they want to help. So that was the mindset that I had. It was like, okay, these guys can literally make my life grow exponentially. And then I asked myself, how can I be of value to them? And how can I make sure that they still are excited to help me out? And yeah, it has gone.
So the most important thing there, guys, that I want you to understand is twofold. One, I do a little business with some of these guys. I know them personally. There's one thing they refuse to be around: people that don't take action. If you're going to do something, say you're going to do it. But the most important thing that he said there, guys, was value. Like, he added value. And I think the biggest problem when people get around somebody like that is they want to project their ideas on why they would help. Well, I have no idea why they would help me. They don't need to do this. Yeah, but you don't know who helped them when they got started. You don't know. They might be in a point in their life where all they want to do is help. And, you know, I see the help that they've given to you. I see you doing the same thing for other people right now, you know, with your masterminds and stuff. So I would imagine that you learned a lot on kind of just, but that's really your mentality already. But basically it's probably going to be something you stick with the rest of your life, is just giving back and teaching, because you want to see, I'm sure you get more joy out of one of your students getting their first investment than you buying another property at this point,
for
right?
sure. 100%, because I am able to help, just like those guys in GoBundance have like changed my future, like my brother too. Like, imagine my brother was 18 years old when he went to one of their events to volunteer and work for them for free for 4 days. Fast forward a couple of years after they have mentored him and everything, and now he closes 150 wholesale deals a year with 17 employees, and he's only 23 years old. I mean, like, it's just crazy, the opportunities that one can get from being part of from having the opportunity to be able to help others, right? And right now too, as I've always had the mindset that, sure, they are helping me, but I need to help other people. And especially by me sharing my story as a dreamer. When I shared my story on Facebook back in 2017, where it went viral, that caused a lot of people to reach out to me, being like, Diego, how have you been able to do it? Because I want to do it too. Like, you have a great story of overcoming obstacles. I'm in the same position as you are, as a dreamer, as a DACA recipient, as a millennial. How can I start investing in real estate? And that's how I've been able to help others.
And now that you're saying it out loud, I remember I need to introduce you to somebody. But there's a kid that whatever. These kids now, I feel like I'm old. He's 23, 24. They have like 56 units already, a couple apartment complexes. And I had lunch with them the other day, right? And I told him, he's Hispanic, and I said, hey, you're looking at it from, and I said, he's a great kid, but I'm just talking in general. I said, you're looking at it from a point of view of, you know, like, hey, I'm amassing units and, like, you know, we're employing some people and stuff. I said, why don't you take it a step further? I said, why don't you look at it as you're Hispanic American, that is buying apartment complexes. So the plumber and let's just call it what it is. The plumber and the roofer and the electrician is becoming the apartment owner. Your need for life, the same way you look at, teaching people investing, is so much greater than what you think. There's a scope of you just buying properties is what I'm saying. Like when I became sober, right, that became a lightning rod for people to latch on to me going, well, if that freaking crazy person can become sober, and I've had people reach out to me, right? And what you're basically saying is, and this is kind of my new thing, by you living your best life and helping others, you're basically a sounding board for other people to follow the path. The same way that David Osborne and Pat Hyben showed you the path, you're in turn, as they call it, throwing the rope back down. And I know that I get more joy out of that than buying assets or any of that stuff.
For sure. Yeah. Like, for example, right now I've helped a lot of people house hack. And right now I had one guy that reached out, and he reached out to join my mastermind group. But after he heard me on the Bigger Pockets podcast back in November or October, he reached out, we met up. And then now he's 23 years old, and he's about to close on his first house hack here in 2 weeks. And it's awesome because he took action. Like from the day that he met me, he took action. He's under contract. He's buying a house, and he's also working now in my real estate team. So
no way.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's and now he already closed one deal as a realtor, has another one under contract.
What was he doing before he heard what was he doing as a regular job?
He was doing leasing as a realtor for people at UT. So he went from being more of a lease agent to now being a sales agent.
Mm-hmm. Something that I thought was interesting last time we had breakfast, you mentioned to me that last year, I don't need a number like price wise, but how many like deals did you do as a realtor? Like
as a realtor last year, I did 33.
Okay. And it sticks with me to this day, is you said you didn't do any marketing. You didn't search for any of those deals. So they were 33 referral deals. So what do you think that is, or what can you put your finger on? Is that you doing what you say you're going to do? Is that you having a great network? Like what would you say that it is? Yeah.
So what was interesting that last year was my best year as a realtor, selling 33 homes. But what was crazy for me was that I didn't focus in selling the homes, because last year I wanted to be more of a speaker. So I gave two TEDx talks, one in Dallas, one in Florida, and another one for youth here in Austin. I was speaking in Chicago and in other places. I went to DC to outside the Supreme Court. So I was focused on a lot of other stuff, but my story resonated with other people in educating them about house hacking and just being part of GoBundance too. So because of the way that I guess people see me as number one, I know what I'm doing, I care about it, and I do want to help others. A lot of people either recommended me to others, or they reached out and they heard me in a podcast. So I'm a big proponent in sharing your story, and I consider myself a lifestyle realtor. So it's more about tapping into your network and making yourself look as an expert that really wants to help other people. And I feel because I care, and I technically, because of the properties that I have, I don't need the money. I'm not hungry to like sell. If I don't sell, I cannot eat. I do it because I enjoy it. I feel like people really resonate with that, and they're like, wow, this guy can really help me. He can really help me, and he understands me.
Mm-hmm. No, I couldn't agree more. I just finished The One Thing this morning by Gary Keller, and he was talking about working less, but working, like for intention and stuff. And that's my new kind of battle cry, is that if you're doing the right thing and it's a long life.
Mm-hmm.
And if your intention is to help people and your intention is to see people succeed, you're not never working, but you're not in a rush is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
Life will come to you, and that's what I'm trying to impart on anybody, because what I've noticed from a lot of high-end investors is they had it all, maybe lost it, maybe didn't, but the overhead, right, of their business got so big that they had to keep the wheel turning. And then they're searching for more, not balance, but searching for a better kind of life, and they wound up scaling back, right? So the machine can get out ahead of you pretty fast.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, I think you live pretty intentional. You're very big component of intentions, goals, setting expectations and stuff like that. What is your general practice that people get some value out of on a day-to-day basis? Are you doing the miracle morning? Are you setting goals every quarter? Are you looking them at every week? What does that look like?
Yeah, so I don't do the miracle morning every morning, but I do wake up early and I start my day. So I work out 4 to 5 times a week. I feel like having the workout, especially in the morning, is super important just to get the blood flow glow. Yeah, and then I usually have a shake a day. But with my goals, I track a lot of it in my calendar. And even though I don't like, I time block where people can do appointments with me. But usually during the day is a lot of it has to do with a little bit more of being on my phone, with responding messages on Instagram and on Facebook. So a lot of my day is basically online, and then connecting with people and chatting with them. Right now, because of everything that's going on, I can't meet face to face here in Austin, but I've definitely been doing Zoom calls with potential buyers, doing talking with people in social media and stuff. But I do follow. I do have the Rich Life Planner from Matty A.
Yeah.
He's a great friend of mine. He's a mentor of mine too, as so to you.
Yeah.
So I use that, and that's where I track the times that I work out, what I'm reading. So I try to read either a hard copy book or Audible whenever I'm in my car in the morning. So it's just like small habits, but I feel I am intentional with what I do, and
Mm-hmm.
that is what has helped me a lot.
And then kind of, and we have this conversation when we talk a lot, and I'm like, man, just give up the agent stuff, like go be an investor. And you're like, no, I love it. It's like making me money. And now that we're dealing with what we're dealing with, being an agent's probably great. But kind of talk us through, before we wrap it up, kind of where you see the next couple of years going. I know you started the mastermind that you're doing, helping students is kind of your newest thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're loving that with Felipe Melka, or is that how you say his last name?
Felipe Mejia.
Sorry, my fault. But his episode on Bigger Pockets was really great. I really, that one stuck out to me. Was a great episode. So you hooked up with him, and
yeah. So what happened was so he is Hispanic, and I feel like there's only been 2 Latinos or 3 Latinos that were featured on the BP podcast, right? And so I reached out to him, telling him, hey, you had a great interview. I'm going to be interviewed soon. And so we connected and we chatted, and he was saying, hey, just be ready. By the time that the podcast goes out, you're going to have a lot of people that reach out to you. And he was not wrong. I mean, I had a lot of people that reached out. I had 800 new followers on Instagram right after, like in 3 days. But what was great is that we saw that a lot of people, especially the young millennials, identified with me, with especially the Latinos too. They're like, hey, like, you are a DACA recipient, you're a dreamer, I'm an immigrant as well, and I want to get into real estate. Is there some way that I can learn more from you or get more connected? So that's where we build the brand called Rat Race to FI, and to help other people leave their corporate job, or at least like become financially independent, especially through real estate. And this is something that I follow, that I feel is super important, because I feel like for you to achieve financial freedom or financial independence, whatever you want to call it, you first have to become the person that achieves financial freedom. First you become it, and then you get it in the future. So there are 6 steps, right, that we teach in that group. And it's basically, number 1 is managing your money. You have to know how much is coming in, how much is coming out. It is super important for you to know that, especially at times like this, like in April 2020, where with everything that's going on, and making sure that you are tracking your finances, tracking your net worth, so that you know how much you have.
And I want to stick there for a second, because this is super important. Because when I was in M1 and they made you write out your the one sheet and you had your net worth, that was the most like vulnerable / crazy. And so I had some young kids that I coach do it, and they would like fight it. But like, it's not until you truly like I feel like finances is a lot of, like, people hide a lot of that stuff, but it's not until you truly look at it that you can track it and go. I think it sets you free a little bit.
It does. And one of the reasons why I feel like a lot of people think it's taboo or something, because they just never discussed it, right? And this is something that they also learn from their family. But I feel like it's super important to track it. And I learned that from the GoBundance guys. There's a spreadsheet that I use. And I heard that Osborne shared it with Pat Hyben, and every single month they will share all what they made, their income, and all this, and everything on calls. So I went to my best friend Pascal, and I'm like, hey, if these guys are doing it and that's how they started, we should do it too. So every single month, Pascal and I, and now we added two more people on that call, we basically share all our income and all of our expenses. And we ask, hey, it's like, why, what happened here? Why before you've been spending 300 in this tab, now you're spending 1,000? What happened? And you can justify it, you can make excuses, you can whatever. But the idea is that you're seeing your net worth grow because you are putting emphasis on it. You're being more aware. And then once you're aware, you can take action. So that's why it's super important. So that's number 1. Now, number 2 is scheduling personal development. That's why I was sharing earlier that, like, you need to listen to these books. You need to learn and be a student of life podcasts like these. Read Rich Dad Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, all of those books. And then number 3 is the importance of your tribe and your peer group. So you have to be conscious of who you're surrounding yourself, because you are the average of the 5 people that you surround yourself with. So if you are complaining every single weekday, happy hour, complaining about your job, that's going to be your conversations, right? And with GoBundance, is the standard is higher. The standard is more about creating passive income, creating the life that you really want to have, and taking action towards it. Number 4 is goal setting. But here's the kicker. You have to do it with accountability. That's why people that they make their New Year's resolutions, but because they're not held accountable, at somehow they stop after a couple of weeks. But when you goal set, and then you have somebody that holds you accountable, that's where you are consistently taking action. Number 5 is increasing your income. And that's why, for example, while I had a full-time job as a software developer, I became a realtor. I was doing WordPress websites for small businesses too. And it was just my mentality that I couldn't go home after 5 p.m. and watch TV. I was like, no, I am not going to do that. I'm sorry. So I have side hustles. And I feel like by having that side hustle, by increasing my income and asking yourself, how can you do it? You become to be more resourceful. And I feel like resourcefulness and creativity in ways to create income, streams of income, is what has helped a lot of the guys in GoBundance and a lot of my mentors. So that's why I feel like it's definitely one of them, because then you can be like, okay, all the money that I make from that, I can store it, I can save it, and do number 6, which is the last one. The last step is investing. Mm-hmm. And keep in mind that a lot of people think that, oh, I'm going to achieve financial freedom, I need to invest. But keep in mind that from what I shared, that's number 6. That's the last one. You need the other 5, because if not, you're going to quit. It's going to be way too early, and you're going to make mistakes, and you're going to be like, F this, I don't want to do this. This is too hard. But if you do the other steps before, you have money in reserves, you're getting the right education, you have the right peer group that maybe is teaching you or mentoring you through it, and you have goal setting with accountability. I mean, there's just no way that you can fail. Is just being patient enough to make it happen. So that's what we share at the Rat Race to FI. And that's like something that I have put together in a way that, okay, after surrounding myself with 250 millionaires for the last 5 years, these are the traits, these are the things. And because I've applied all of those 6 into my life, that my life is a result of that. Mm-hmm. So
that was it, guys. That was the gold. Rewind that, write it down. You know, as I read books and I get around these people right now that we're kind of on quarantine, you know, I've been reading a bunch of books this week. I set a crazy goal. I've read like 6 books this week, seriously. And the thing I keep going back to on all these books is simple. It's simple. Everybody makes everything so complicated. And if you follow those 6 traits, those 6 pillars that he just talked about, you're good. That's it. That's all you need. And the thing is that if you think, now granted, there's exceptions, but if you think, my thing is, and I did it, and I'm guilty of it, I quit too early, right? Like, get your side hustle up, get your investing, get the investing to replace the income, and then we can talk about quitting that job. Mm-hmm. But there's plenty of time in the day to do the side hustle, to drive for Uber, you know, listen to the books, listen to the podcast. There's so many things out there that you can do these days. And I just don't want to hear any excuses from anybody because, you know, I mean, I know some guys that have like 5 jobs.
Yeah. And I mean, to give you an idea, right? Sure. I was making $5,000 as a software developer at GM. So $5,000 a month. What I did is, by the time that I quit my corporate job, I knew that I was in a position to sell 1 home every 45 days or 2 homes a month. I mean, or 2 homes every 2 months. And because of the fact that I had my $5,000 a month, then I was living for free and I didn't have any bad debt, I knew that through my side hustle, if I could make half of what I was making a month by working 50% through a side hustle, I knew that I can probably double that and increase it even more, right? Mm-hmm. So that's when I was able to be like, you know what, I'm going to quit. I'm living for free. I do not, and I'm consistently closing deals once every 45 days, doing this part-time. I know that if I go full-time, I can make it happen a lot more. So then I left.
Amazing. I love it. Every time I talk to this guy, I feel better. So let's talk about how the people can find you, how they can hunt you down. Your episode on Bigger Pockets, I know it was a dream for you.
Yeah.
It was great to listen to. So if you haven't heard it, you definitely need to go check it out, guys.
It was episode 352. But if people want to reach out to me, I'm really easily accessible. They can follow me at Real Diego Corzo on Instagram. They can also reach out to me on Facebook. I have a group there too on Facebook. Or they can send me an email to info@diegocorzo.com. And if they want to find out more about the Rat Race to FI, they can go to ratrace2fi.com.
Fantastic. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode, please make sure to rate us and review us, share us with your friends. Diego, thank you so much for coming in, bud. I appreciate it.
Awesome. Take care.
Thank you for listening to Construct Your Life with Austin Linney. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to rate, review, subscribe, and pay it forward by sharing with a friend. Most importantly, take this opportunity to start constructing your life by taking immediate action on what you learned. For show notes, resources, and more information on one-on-one coaching with Austin, visit constructyourlifepodcast.com.